First Alert 6 at 6.
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Erin Sullivan.
And I'm Brian Mastry. Let's get right into our top 6 headlines at 6.
A railroad bridge in Lincoln collapses into the water after fire consumes it this morning. This happened near the Haymarket. The bridge collapsed after 2 hours of crews showing up on scene. Right now, crews don't know what started this fire.
The man charged in the crash which killed a Millard West student has changed his plea. Christopher Luke is accused of running a red light last April, hitting 16-year-old Elise Cole's car just off school campus. She died at the hospital. Luke is now pleading no contest to misdemeanor motor vehicle homicide. Sentencing is set for May.
Sarah Root's father will attend tomorrow's State of the Union address. The 21-year-old Council Bluffs woman died in 2016 when police say Eswin Mejia, who was in the country illegally, hit her car while drunk and speeding. Mejia was sentenced to 20 years in prison earlier this month. Her father, Scott Root, and brother will attend President Trump's speech at the Capitol as Iowa Representative Randy Feenstra's guest.
Nebraska lawmakers continue debate on restricting weapons inside the state capitol. Today, lawmakers approved an amendment to the bill at issue, which would restrict open carry and allow concealed carry on Capitol grounds.
Tourists, including a UNO student, are stranded in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, after violence erupted there yesterday. Suspected cartel members set fire to cars and buildings after a drug kingpin was killed by Mexican forces during a raid. More on that local young woman's experience as she tries to find her way home, coming up.
Much of the Northeast is hunkered down tonight as a massive winter storm drops feet of snow in some areas. New York City saw record snowfall totals with more than 15 inches recorded in Central Park. And more snow is in the forecast for parts of New England tonight.
Well, back here at home.